Hello, let me show you these. My mate's just dropped these off. I wasn't expecting these, but he just dropped them off. There's some Senshyu yellow Japanese onions. I'm going to need my glasses for this. Let me show you them first. That's them. Japanese winter onions, the variety Senshyu. Okay, let me tell you what it says on the bag, but first, this was a 500 gram bag and it cost £4.50. My mate has taken out what he wants and this is what's left over. He's given them to me. I'll find room for these in one of my raised beds, but the beds just aren't ready yet. I haven't got them ready yet. But one of the things I can do, and one of the things I will do, I'm going to plant some of these in a bucket. Yes, I am. And I'm going to cut you to some video of me doing that some years ago. It's a start to finish video, so you're going to see the onions being planted and the onions being harvested in the same video. And I'll use that same method again this year. Okay, apart from one difference, I think in that video I started the onions off indoors, sat them on some moist soil till they produced a few roots, and then planted them so that they just and so got the roots in the soil. But it actually tells you in these instructions, and I'll be following those this year, that you basically put them in, rest them on the soil, blunt end down, sharp end up, push them in until just a little tip of the sharp end is showing, and then you need to do nothing. That's it. You've planted your onion set. Nothing to do. Okay, let me just read you about these onions first, and then I'll cut you to that video. Senshyu yellow, a hugely popular Japanese winter onion, produces semi-globed shaped onions with a superb flavour. Hey, what's not to like about that? What's not to like about that? A superb flavour. Plant 10 centimetres apart in rows 30 centimetres apart. Well, that's possibly something I can do in a raised bed, but I certainly can't do that in a bucket. So in a bucket, it's being sensible about what you think a bucket can produce, depending on how big the bucket is and how many of these sets you plant in that bucket. Just space them evenly, but use a bit of common sense. Okay, needs a sunny position. Okay, just push into the soil, leaving the tip showing, just as I've explained. Lift when the foliage turns yellow and or falls over. You're going to see that in the video that's coming up shortly. Plant in the autumn, which is right now, ready to harvest the following summer. Very hardy variety. So we're going to plant these guys in autumn. They're going to grow through autumn, winter and spring and into summer when they'll be harvested. During the first two seasons, autumn and winter, you're not going to see a lot because these little babies will be putting roots down. They'll be a bit reluctant to put shoots up, it'll be a bit cold, but they will put shoots up, but only very short shoots. As we move into the spring of the year, soil warms up, these guys will kick on. As we move into the summer of the year, these guys will bulb up and you will be harvesting onions. Enjoy that video, then come back to me. This is the compost I'm going to be growing my winter onions in. This compost has already been used once this year to grow tomatoes in. And that's what's left of the tomato plants. And we've recovered the compost into this barrel. It's easy enough done. Just lift it out of the bucket like this and break it up with a spade. Okay. So if we've already grown tomatoes in this compost, it's got to be depleted. It's got to be depleted. So we need to put something back in there. We're not going to add this toffee crumble, we're going to add some onion fertilizer. So put the onion fertilizer in the mix now. We put the mix in the bucket, we plant the onions, and there's not a great deal more to do other than to wait till next summer coming round to harvest them. Okay, let's add some of this to the mix. Now I don't deal in quantities, so don't ask me how much I'm adding because I don't know. What you see is what you get. We'll just give that a mix. That looks mixed to me. And then we'll charge this bucket. Okay, let's go and plant some onions. These are the 6 onions we're going to be planting in this 10-inch water bucket. If you're growing in something bigger, you might want to try more onion sets, but this works for me. I've tried to equally space them, and what I want to try and do now is plant them so that they sit on the top, but the roots are under the soil, under the compost. Are you going to give this a go? Having seen that result, are you going to give it a go? Well, you've nothing to lose, have you? There isn't much else you'll be growing through autumn and winter, but this is one thing you could grow, and one thing you could be harvesting next summer. What do you think? And all we're going to do once we've got these planted is give them a little drink of water and stand them outside, and they'll have to take whatever the weather throws at them. Now, autumns tend to be wet and cold affairs, don't they? So what you really need to do is make sure your bucket has got some good drainage holes in there, and that you don't let it get waterlogged. So that means you'll need to keep an eye on it. We're going to give these a little drink of water today. We might not need to give them any more until next spring, because if we get a wet autumn and a wet winter and this is standing outside, then we'll let the rain take the strain. But if we get a dry spell, then we'll give them a little drink. So we'll give them this little drink now, and then we'll stand them outside. And as I've said, there's nothing else to do with these guys now. There really is not. The compost has already got some onion fertilizer in it, so there is no need to give these onions any more fertilizer. We've already added it, and that's all they're going to be getting, apart from the odd watering, and if there are any strong winds at all and these things look as though they're going to be blown over, we'll perhaps have to push them back in again. But apart from that, that's it. How easy is that? How easy is that? These are some of my Japanese winter onions. There's half a dozen of them growing in this 10-inch water bucket. I'll just lift the leaves up. Hope you can see those half a dozen onions, and if we just let go of the leaves they fall over, so you can see that these onions are ready to harvest. The necks have gone soft, they won't support the leaves, and they're just falling over. So these onions now are ready to harvest. I planted them in this bucket in the autumn of last year, so they've grown through autumn, winter and spring, and we're now into the early part of summer, but they're ready to be harvested. So we're going to take them now, and then I think what we'll do is we'll probably turn this bucket out, because I am going to recover this soil, I am going to reuse this soil, and we'll just have a look at what sort of root systems they've put down in this bucket. Okay, so these are them. 6 Japanese onions grown from sets, planted in the autumn of last year, grew through autumn, winter and spring into early summer here in the UK. Now they're falling over, they're ready to harvest. So hopefully we can do this, just twist them out. Now, I think you'll agree, this is a lot of onion for such a small bucket, half as big as a 5-gallon water bucket, and look what's coming out of it. I haven't been as lucky with some of the other winter onions I've got in. Some of those have bolted, they've gone to seed, but these onions look fine. How good is that? How good is that? Let's put them to one side, turn this out, see what this soil ball looks like. Yeah, just as I expected. Chock-a-block with roots. Chock-a-block with roots. So, we're definitely happy with this result here at Homegrown Veg. Something you might want to consider doing if you haven't got much room to work, but you've enough room for a few small buckets. Why not sow a few onions? Hey Molly, look at this. I've just harvested these onions from a 10-inch water bucket. What do you think? Good delivery that, isn't it? Molly's not interested. Carrots and potatoes, yeah, and a few other bits and bobs, but onions, definitely not. Are you not, sweetheart? You're not interested in onions? Okay, so that was then, and this is now. Imagine 6 onion sets. We're going to turn those, hopefully, into 6 bulb onions, but it is going to take about 9 or 10 months to do it. But it's worth it. You're going to turn 6 of these out. Can it be done? You know it can be done. You just saw me do it. And you can do it. If you want to have a shot at it. If you've got a bucket, you've got some soil, all you need is some winter onion sets, and you can give it a go. How about that? How about that? Yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed the video. I always enjoy making them. I have a lot of fun making these videos. And if you are, thumbs up would be nice. Yeah, thumbs up would be nice. And yeah, if you're a subscriber, thanks for being a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, hey, why don't you subscribe? It's free. Hit the bell notification icon. We'll plant these this year. Summer of next year we'll harvest them, and hopefully they'll look like these. There's only one way to find out if it works. Come back and watch the video when I upload it in about 9 or 10 months time. Okay, so this is Homegrown Veg, signing out.